Hey everybody, wanted to talk about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Okay, so we're getting some progress happening. We had a bit of a side quest. We got to see some really cool guest characters, guest actors. We had Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd was in this jam. It was pretty cool. So the plot and the synopsis of this world where the labor is by droids and what type of world that creates for the organics and them having this... semi-utopia, if you will, but then what happens when the labor force starts to get decimated or can't be trusted? And so there was some intriguing ideas and layers that I appreciated, again, in this political world of the New Republic versus the Empire versus, the Separatists and the machinations of a government being too big to get stuff done in comparison to, a direct democracy. And so I liked this conflict of ideas in the world of Star Wars on the political level because it's existed heavily in the prequels. So this investigation, if you will, that Din Djarin and Bo-Katan go on is more time for them to spend together and also just to see how each other works their own ways. And Din, still not liking droids, even though he had a positive experience with the IG model in Season 1. There is still that hesitation, especially with battle droids, and being just kicking some of the droids to see who's going to behave was a little crass, I think. But, it got the job done in one respect. But just seeing the differences between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin and how they approach situations was a good character development. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of that. But the biggest thing that happened really was Bo-Katan receiving the Darksaber. So the previous adventures, and I kind of thought about this too, of like, well, if Mando has been captured and then Bo-Katan saves him, then therefore she defeats, the enemy that took down Din Djarin, and then therefore she gets the Darksaber, and it looks like those rules apply. So with this fleet, the opening of the episode too was funny. That Prince is like, but I love you. He's like, bro, stop saying it, because it's gonna wear off if you keep getting a little annoying. But I could feel that kind of Romeo and Juliet, the Mon Calamari and the Quarians, and I think that would have been a neater story to dive into instead of just a side opening for the mercenaries, and doing the right thing for the people compared to the cost of what you're being paid to do. And we saw that with Mandalorian in Season 1. So now the unification of more of the Mandalorian tribes and mercenaries getting together to take back Mandalore. Well, as more Mandalorians are getting together, who's going to be the big baddie? I think it's going to be Grand Moff. I almost said Tarkin. Gideon, Grand Moff Gideon. But, if other Mandalorians sprung him out, are they other mercenaries? Are they others that are still compliant with the Empire? Who knows? So maybe we'll see some different types of Mandalorians out there here pretty soon. Not a lot of episodes left. Not a lot of episodes left. Grogu hanging out with Lizzo was fine. Sometimes when you see these musicians and you wonder, like, are they actors or not? I really liked the pleasant demeanor of Lizzo, and I liked the fun banter between Jack Black and her. But sometimes some of the line readings felt like that, like a line reading. I was like, let me just try to get these lines out 100%. And I know that feeling because as an actor, that happens sometimes when you just don't have the script memorized or you're a bit nervous. And if you have a good director, they'll do a couple takes. And I think Bryce Dallas Howard did a couple takes with Lizzo to get just like, hey, let's get you a little bit more comfortable. But I think the toughest part about it is that you're in such a world of green screen or in the volume. And you have, you have some elements that you can cling to physically, tangibly as an actor, but others you have to imagine. And if you're not used to that space, if you haven't been trained in that space, it's going to feel like, okay, how do I feel natural in a place that is so artificial right now? And it takes time. Would I like to see Lizzo on camera again in The Mandalorian? Yeah, I would. I thought her pleasant demeanor, especially hanging out with Grogu, was fun. And Jack Black, I'd watch that guy cook. I'd watch him do anything. He's incredible. And so his kind of that demeanor of like, I'm Jack Black and I'm in Star Wars. It was fun. But then seeing Christopher Lloyd, I'm like, man, he's still kicking. He's still walking around getting stuff done. But his attitude and his reasoning for doing what he was doing, again, he even mentioned Count Dooku. Count Dooku, he was saying was right. That's the part of Star Wars that I find fascinating in a post-Empire world, is what is the proper way to govern these different regions? Should they be more independent? Should they be part of a new collective of the New Republic? But we are seeing the bureaucracy of the New Republic and how things are just not getting done in time. And, the Mandalorians out for themselves in many respects, and they're able to work together as a tribe, as a team, as a people. And what unites them is that creed, right? And so you think about the governance of planets, systems, regions, rims, and what is their creed? What are the values that the New Republic stands for? And does that align with the Mandalorians? Does it conflict with it? Or is it stronger to be part of a creed like the Mandalorians rather than the aloof Jedi, which were incorrect in their assessments? Their whole "you can't love" is what destroyed them. And also their hubris is what destroyed them. And I would have liked to have seen a lot more of that discussion in The Last Jedi. Anyways, trying to spin the positive. Some of the dialogue, a little clunky. Mr. Favreau, I love you. You gotta go through another round of scripts, or you gotta hand it off and get a co-writer, because some of this dialogue is just, it's not bringing the weight that the show demands, that these characters demand, I feel. And in a world that's very artificial, I think it may be tougher sometimes to find that weight in the lines. And it just needs one more pass. All right, Grogu. Grogu liked it. He had a good time. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts about the latest episode of The Mandalorian? Are you ready for the finale coming in like, 2 weeks, if that? It better be big. It better be a big showcase. So this is just going to kind of feel like a bit of a filler season with some good moments, some progress happening in the world for sure, but nothing really huge. I don't know. It's tough to compete with season 2 for sure. Okay, everybody, those are my thoughts. You know what to do. It's YouTube. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you online.